Hello, welcome. Now in this hands-on video, we're going to talk a little deeper about what you're going to do to create an affiliate promotion for the product that you're doing. And I'm actually going to go into my page builder. Now again, you don't necessarily want to get caught into thinking that your page builder is everything. So the page builder is not the point here. The point here is that you're going to need to create a bonus page, and I'm going to go into my page creator, and we're just going to go and we're going to pick a simple template, and I'll tell you why that is. Because what you're going to try to do here is you are going to try to you're basically going to try to make sure that your customer understands the value that they're going to be getting from you. Right, so here's a very simple page template. And so we have a headline, we have a sales video or a bonus video, and then we're going to have the bullet points. Now there are a couple of things you're going to be able to do with any bonus page or any landing page template. Notice I use an opt-in page template. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this down here. We're going to get rid of all that noise down there. And what we're going to do is we're going to add in a headline, right? So you'll notice that you've got a pre-headline here. We don't have to have that for a bonus page. And we can actually use another color. Now, light blue tends not to be one that's going to generate excitement. Blue does generate trust, not excitement. So we can go in, we can actually change this, or we can change this to a color that we want, whatever we feel comfortable with, right? So whatever you want to do, you can actually change that. You can use black. You just want to communicate, that you're trustworthy here. And then there's your headline. And so what we also want to do is we want to do some kind of graphical representation of the bonus that we're getting, right? So that we're going to give the customer. Now we can do that above the video, or we can do that below the video. It really doesn't matter. In this case, we want people to see the video that we're going to be adding, or the bonus we're adding right away. So let's go ahead and just add. I'm going to just add a graphical representation here. It really doesn't matter which one. You will just add in the image for the bonus that you're going to be adding. Right. I'm just going to pick one that I had here before, and we're just going to add that in. Right, that's probably going to be too big. I'm going to size that down. I'm going to size that down by maybe. Let's size that way down. Okay, that's probably too small. That's probably too small. So we're going to size this down. Or maybe we'll go with half the size. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to see. Now we could probably pull this below that. If we want people to watch our video first, that would be fine. So let's just for the sake of this, we're just gonna drag this below the video. And we're going to do that because we want people to click on the button, but we want them to see the graphical representation after they view the video, if they choose to view the video, right? So we're going to add in a button here. The button is where we're going to add in our affiliate link. And we're just going to click save and continue. Okay, so now you've got the graphical representation. They're going to see it before they click the affiliate link button. And one of the reasons why you want to create a bonus page is, first of all, when you're sending out an email, you want to send out an email with your bonus page and not with either the Warrior Plus or JVZoo or ClickBank link, because those links are probably going to get you put in the spam folder. So I would not send out a naked JVZoo or Warrior Plus or any kind of affiliate platform link. They get spammed to death. So the inboxes of Google and Microsoft are now going to layers deep. And so you might find that if you put a JVZoo link in there in a link cloaker, that it's still going to go to spam because now the email boxes are reading those pages one link deep. So I would go ahead and just send people to a bonus page rather than send them to a naked link. Okay, so now you have a couple of other elements. Now right here, you're going to have a bonus video. And that bonus video, you can either do a demo or you can do something where people are going to find out what kind of value they're going to be getting from the actual product. Okay, and so you are basically going to be pre-selling them in this video. Now, if the sales page does a great job of selling, then that's great, but you know your customers better than the vendor does. You do an affiliate promotion, you're going to be selling to your customers based on your experience. So this is where you can do a video on social proof and then add it to this page. In this area, you're going to add in a basic benefit, right? And then in this area, you're going to add in 3 benefits. You don't necessarily want to add in things about the product. They're going to see that on the sales page. So again, very simple. This video should autoplay. Now, inside of this page builder, inside of most page builders, you're going to be able to make sure your video autoplays, right? So you go and you upload your video to YouTube. We go and get that. Let's see, we just go and get one here. Here's a YouTube music one. It's kind of cool. Copy that. We're going to put that in our URL. And then what we're going to do is we're going to autoplay it. We can hide the controls, and then we can hide the YouTube label. I don't like to show the title bar, so we're just going to click that one. And so we have a bonus page, right? So our affiliate promotion is really going to be based on our video, where we're going to pre-sell them. It's going to autoplay. Now we want to give the buyer the opportunity to stop this video. So this copy is going to be pretty important. It needs to be short, and it needs to talk about the benefits of what people are actually going to be getting if they decide to go ahead and click through. All you're trying to do at this point is you're trying to make a connection to what they're going to get, and then clicking through to the next page. Right? That's why I put continue here. Now you can try a number and test a number of different things on the button to figure out what you want to use. Now again, this is my page builder, but any of the page builders are going to have pretty much the same thing. Okay, so that's pretty much what you want to try to accomplish in your bonus page when you are sending people to your affiliate promotion. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now, in the course, we talked about doing something called webinar jacking or webinar hijacking, and we're going to hijack the bonus process with an automated webinar system. And so I'm inside of a webinar system. It's called Webinar Fusion Pro. And just about any system that has an automated system can do something like this. So if yours is not Webinar Fusion Pro, you can actually replicate this inside of your own. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to just take a look at one of my webinars, and I'm going to turn it into a recorded webinar. So here's one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this one. And I'm going to make this a recorded video, recorded webinar. I'm going to use one of my recordings here, and I'll just use one here. Right, so this webinar is now going to play this particular video that I've already uploaded. Now, the webinar system is not the point here. The point that I want to get to here is your actual time to make the offer. So I'm going to go inside of the system of Webinar Fusion Pro, and what we would do is we would set up an offer. So we'd go and set up an offer, and in this particular case, I've already got one that was already in here, even though I didn't launch it for this webinar. So I'm going to take a look and edit this one. You'll notice here it's got a name, it's got a URL, it's got a URL, and then it's got a button text. Right. So if I preview this, okay, it doesn't have a graphical representation. Remember, we always want to have a graphical representation. So let's go ahead and put one in here. I'm just going to pick any image right now. Okay, so we've got one in there. We're just going to click preview. Okay, so there's our graphical representation. Right now, a person can click this button and be sent to a particular URL. So now our offer is set. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set the timing. Now in Webinar Fusion Pro, this is called the Fusion Bot. It's called different things in different systems. And so what we're going to do is at the point of, we're going to say at the point of this 29:54, we're going to actually make sure that the offer is shown to the attendees. I'm going to click add. So now what we want to do is to make sure that on an automated basis, when somebody comes to this webinar, they start watching it, they get to the point where it's 29:54, they're going to see the offer. So now we're really set up so that the person can actually watch a webinar. And however you do it inside of your webinar system, in Webinar Fusion Pro, it's called the Anytime link. So we would grab that link. And once again, I'm going to recommend that you put this link inside of some kind of paging system, or that you cloak it. And today, right, most webinar systems are not being targeted for spam of any kind, but you don't necessarily want to rely on that, especially if you're going to have traffic on an ongoing basis. So one of the things that you can do is, I'm going to go back to the video where we created a landing page. And basically, we're going to create the same kind of landing page. In this case, we would not create, a video. We would maybe say, we'd put a headline in here, and our headline would say, visit this webinar, or something to that effect. And then this URL would go to that Anytime link, right? Now a person comes to the page, they see the headline, they're being asked to take a look at the video. Maybe we'll give them some incentive, we'll give them a bonus if they check this out, or tell them what they're about to experience. I mean, we can probably get a different kind of template. We could probably get one that people recognize as a webinar template, right? We could do that, or some kind of special event page. Right, we could do something like this, and we can make that Anytime link the button. Okay, but now when they click that button, they're going to be taken to that webinar, and they're going to be able to watch that webinar, and then we know that at the 30-minute point, they're going to be shown an offer. And what we want to do with the timing is, we want people to have seen the actual value, and want them to appreciate what it is that is being offered, and then to be able to click the link. Now, we don't necessarily want to show them the offer prior to the point in the video where they have seen the entire value, right? So in this particular case, in Webinar Fusion Pro, I'm not entirely sure. Let's just take a look and see what actually happens. You're going to see here, then when they get that link, it's going to say that the webinar is going to start in 10 seconds, right? And then the video is actually going to start. Right now, what we want to do is we just want to see, okay, so I'm going to stop this here. But that's actually what would happen. So when you send people to that automated webinar, they're going to click the link, they're going to start watching the video, and then at 30 seconds or 30 minutes, they're going to see the offer. And so we would be making sure that that process is as seamless as possible, and that they would be able to make or buy what it is that we have to sell. Now, there is another aspect of this that I do want to tell you about. And I'm going to go back into the webinar system, because in particular, one of the things that we can do with a webinar is we can actually make it so that the webinar is really doing the selling for us. We don't want to rely on a sales page. And so in that particular case, I'm going to go back into this webinar. And when I create this offer, so this is very important, because every page that your viewer has to click on will probably lead to some kind of drop off. So in this particular case, they're being sent to a sales page, right? But we may not want to send them to a sales page. What we could do is I'm going to go inside of JV Zoo right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of the products. I'm going to go to the buy buttons here. Right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send them to this link. Right, and the reason I'm going to send them to this link is because I will have already sold them. Right, I would have spent the webinar doing the selling process, and I may not want to send them to a sales page. In that particular case, all I want them to do is to go to the buy page. Right? Let's click Save Changes. And that's where they would appear. They would appear at the actual buy page as opposed to a sales page. And again, you're really then depending on the selling process to happen inside of the webinar. So if you've got a good converting webinar, you've got a good sales process, or you're confident that you're going to be able to communicate all the features and benefits and then the value, then you want to send them directly to go buy at that point in the webinar when they're ready to make the purchase. Okay, so that's it for part 6. Thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome back. Now, in our part 5, we talked about the fact that PLR is a number of different kinds of leverage depending on how you want to use it. Teaching, product, bonus, tools. And we talked about membership leverage, and that's really where we want to focus on in this video. Now, in order to create your own membership site where people are going to be able to actually get content on a regular basis, there's a really simple way to do it, and then there's a way for you to do it with software. I'm going to explain the simple way to do your membership in this video. Now, for purposes of this tutorial, we're going to use WordPress, and the reason we're going to use WordPress, it's fairly easy to get a site put up and then fairly easy to customize. So if you're going to start from scratch, even if you don't know a lot about WordPress, starting with WordPress is going to be a great way to be able to create even this membership that we're talking about here. Now, you'll notice here that there is a setting in WordPress. If we go down the dashboard in the settings area and we go to the reading area, and there's a button here that says discourage search engines from indexing this site. What that means is that the pages, when you create them, will not show up in search engines, so people won't be able to find them from outside. And so what you want to do here is you want to then start creating this membership site in a way so that people cannot just search for the content and then find it. That's really going to be the starting point in creating this membership. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to create new posts. And we create a new post, and we're going to create one post for every month. So we might say this is August of 2016, and this is going to be the content. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to put a link in here. We're going to put a link in here that says here. Now, this is really simple, but you're going to be delivering the content based on what you promise. Here is your August content. Right? Again, no frills, no fluff. It's going to be simple for the buyer and simple for you. Now, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to link to the August content. Now, obviously, this is not going to be showing up in the search engines. And the other thing, too, is even though this is going to be the title of your post, so that people can't guess it, you want to make sure that your URL is unique. And so you might add in something there that is hard to guess. Right? So then people won't necessarily be able to go in and guess your URL. Now what we need to do is we need to add to this, we need to put a link here. And whatever your content is, wherever your content is hosted, if you have your content hosted in Google Drive, if you have it hosted in Microsoft OneDrive, all you're going to do is to create a link here to that actual content. You create insert link, and you're going to link to that content here. And the only way people are going to be able to get that link is if they've come to this page. So unless someone is inside your membership giving away your content, It's going to be fairly secure. Now there are ways and there are software programs and even WordPress plugins that will secure this content, right? But if you're just trying to set up a membership that is simple to deliver, this is going to be the content. This is where they're going to actually get it. We're going to click publish. And so now this content, actually we didn't create a link. I'm just going to put in here google.com just so we'll have a live link. And click update. Okay, so now if we go and view this post, it's going to say here's your August content, and they're going to click that link and they're going to be taken to the download link that you give them. So now that's really the first part of this process. And so what we're going to do is that every month we're going to make sure that our customer actually gets this link that we create for them. And we're going to do that through our autoresponder. Now I'm going to go into get response right now. And I'm going to create a brand new campaign. And I'm going to say monthly content. Right? We're going to create a monthly content. We're going to create the campaign. Actually, they want it differently. We're going to call that maybe something unique. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create autoresponders. So we don't want to send broadcast emails. We want to send autoresponders. So we're going to create an autoresponder here so that the day they sign up, the day they become part of our list, they're going to get an email immediately. Right, so we're going to say this is day 1 of the membership. We're going to save that and publish, and then we're going to write our. We're going to go ahead and create our email. We're going to call this day 1 of the membership. Okay, this is going to appear in our list of messages. That's the way GetResponse does it. This is what the customer is going to see day 1 of the membership. We're going to click save. Then we're going to go to the next step. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep a very simple template. Right, I'm going to go start from scratch. If I want to use one of those templates there, I can. If I want it to look good, but again, what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to make sure the customer gets their content. Now I'm going to go here and get response. I'm going to eliminate all of this. I'm going to eliminate a lot of this for now. I'm going to send them a personal message, so I'm going to personalize this and get response. I'm going to send that to their first name, and I'm going to say thanks for signing up. Here's your August content. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually go and get that link. Now remember, the only way they're going to be able to get this link is if they get inside of your membership. So if your content is being shared around, it's probably going to be being shared by someone who's buying it, right? So for the most part, you don't have to worry so much about people being able to get inside of here. Again, people are paying for this, and if they choose to start sharing it, that's something you're not necessarily going to be able to prevent fully. So what we're going to do is we're going to then link to this content, and so that everybody that signs up day 1, they're going to get this content. Right, so now we have our message. Now, for the sake of your autoresponder, you do want to make sure that your plain text email is going to read the same. Right, let's see, I don't like that I don't like that so much. I'm just going to copy this then. And we're going to put this inside of the plain text box also. right? So there's our plain text. In case your user has plain text email, I'm going to get rid of this image box. We don't really want that. And so they're going to get this. Everybody that signs up, that ends up buying the product, they're going to get that on month one. We're just going to go to step one, next step. And once we click next step, we actually have what we need in order to have this message sent to people when they sign up. We're just going to make sure it publishes. And then we'll have our first membership content delivered. Now, what we need to do for every month is we need to create a new message and we need to create a new post. So create a new post, new message, and what happens is when people join, they'll actually get the content on the day that they actually sign up as opposed to getting it right away. Now, they will not see the content. You have to make sure that they cannot guess the URL, but it's a very simple way of being able to deliver the content to people on a routine basis. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to this last hands-on video. And in the last section, we talked about the fact that we want to make sure that when we're purchasing, we want to make sure that we're purchasing, not substituting for the things that we really need to do in order to build our business. And one of the things that we talked about here is we talked about the book Deep Work. And we talked about that with respect to the concept of scheduling interaction and making sure that it's focused. Now, this book is by a gentleman named Cal Newport, and it's actually written on Kindle. It's also available on Audible, and it's also available in most public libraries for free. The concept of the book is how can we get the most focused time in on the work that we're trying to do, and he has several strategies in how to do that. And so we talked about this with respect to interacting in groups and interacting in products rather than actually doing the work that's really going to generate content and generate cash for us. And so you want to keep in line, are you really getting the work done? And this book will help you to think through that process and whether or not the interaction that you're getting is the kind that will generate profit. And again, if you're going to buy in order to generate the kind of profit that you really want, you might want to consider some level of coaching, or if the information product actually does it for you, then get the information product. But again, the thinking that you want to do can be developed in this concept in this particular book. We also talked about the book Peak by Anders Ericsson, where he discussed this idea of deliberate practice. And we talked about it with respect to making sure that when you purchase software, that it's really giving you the kind of automation that you want, and that it's really building your business, doing things for you that you cannot do or that you could do, but that the software helps you to do it faster. However, not looking at it in a way to avoid understanding your market, to avoid understanding how to reach your customer, or to avoid understanding your customer in the first place. And so the book, like the others that we have talked about, is available on Amazon, in Kindle, in Audible, and it's typically available in most public libraries for free. And the book is really the cornerstone of the philosophy that Malcolm Gladwell talked about in the book Outliers. The theory that he talked about in that book was based on the work of this gentleman. And I guess this is the first time that he's actually put his real thoughts in print and real thoughts in action. And so what you'll see here is that what's most important is for us to practice deliberately, to get feedback on what we're doing, and then make adjustments. And that process helps us to improve in every little thing that we're trying to do. And it's especially going to help us as we are solo business owners or even managers of other people. So this book will help to shape how you make your purchases so that when you make your software purchases, you're not making them to do something that you can only do by getting better at what you do, but to get it so that it helps us to be more focused as well as to be leveraged in our business. We talked about the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, and the Blue Ocean Strategy is really about going to some place where there is not a product currently, but that there's a market need. And so we want to make sure that when we use PLR, that we change it into something that the market needs. And that's what we talked about in the avoid substitute section. And that we want to make sure that we are still in the marketplace understanding it, still doing the actual work. This book is also available in all the forms, typically at most public libraries. It's a little older, it's been updated a number of times, but the concept is still the same, that we as business owners and entrepreneurs, we want to swim where there is not red ocean. And the idea about red ocean is that if sharks are there, they're feeding on people, and of course there's blood in the water, and that's where all the sharks go. But we want to go where there's blue ocean, where there are not a lot of sharks there, but that the market is there waiting for a solution for a problem that it has. So if we understand, the more we understand the market, the more we're going to be able to take our PLR to meet that demand, even if we have to go back and change some of it in order to give the market what it wants. We also talked about the book Smarter, Faster, Better, and making sure that we are not buying information instead of making a decision. And so we have to have in mind what it is that we're trying to accomplish, and to think about this in terms of every 7 days. Every 7 days, we should have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish, not only for that week, but what we're trying to accomplish in our business, and that would not be vague. That should not be that we're just trying to make more money or we're trying to make another $2,000. We should have a pretty square goal in mind in how we're doing that. And we need to have an idea of what should be happening every day and some kind of minimum viable activity. So what is it that we can do or we cannot leave the day without doing in order to accomplish that goal? And that's where we kind of brought in the concepts in the book Smarter, Faster, Better. In the book, there's a concept called locus of control, and that we want to remain in control of the process of driving our business. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to be out of control so that if a launch happens that we're going to jump on it because we don't want to miss it. We want to make sure that the business drives what it is that we need. And so we always want to be inside of that space of what do I need to do in 7 days? What do I have to happen? What do I need to make happen in order to get to that goal? And what's my minimum viable activity? And sometimes there's going to be a launch that'll fit into that. And other times we'll have to buy things that are outside of that launch. But if we're moving in a particular direction, we'll be able to avoid the substitute of buying when we really should be making a decision about how we're going to build and grow our business. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.